and on this topic. It has been my experience that when one interacts with psychology students and also some mental health professionals in the city as such, everyone has a lot of fascination for psychoanalysis. People say that they are very interested in that they are very fascinated by it. There are also people who take certain psychoanalytical concepts and try to integrate it into their clinical work. However, this interest surely is very passionate, but if you look at the Indian context, the training in psychoanalysis is like still in its infancy, I would say. We don't have that kind of a rigorous clinical training in psychoanalysis in India. So it's more like this, that people are interested a lot, they talk a lot, but when it comes down to the actual real clinical work, very few people know how to kind of, proceed into that. As far as the concepts of transference and counter-transference are concerned, if you look at the literature in psychology or the general psychology books as well, which we often read when we are training, so they just are very limited to psychoanalysis as it existed probably till 1945 or 1950. They talk about Freud, Adler, Jung, they talk about neo-Freudians, but the book somewhere seems to end over there. Interestingly, psychoanalysis as a clinical discipline has really evolved in the last 50 years. We had the object relations approach, the self-psychology, the intersubjectivist movement, and these are simply not covered, in this literature. The same has been the fate of, the concepts of transference and counter-transference. They were surely given by Freud, initially, but the way we understand them, the way we kind of take them in clinical work, and their immense potential and power that these concepts can have, and the transformation that they can bring in clinical work is immense, and it has grown. Their understanding and the way we look at them and the way we deal with them has really grown in these last 50 years, and I hope that Dr. Roland would reflect a bit on it also from his clinical experience. When I kind of interact with the students over here, and at times also people over here, there are I would say four very strong misconceptions and myths which I come across, which people have towards transference and counter-transference. First of all, people really like to believe that transference and counter-transference are something exclusive to psychoanalysis, and they also blame. They say that psychoanalysis is somewhere a horrible thing which manufactures transference and counter-transference kind of thing. Well, this is really a myth. Transference and counter-transference are there across all psychotherapies, and you could also actually see them in all human relationships also. What psychoanalysis really does is that it kind of it enables you to really look at these things and to understand them systematically and see how they color the life of a certain individual. The second important myth which people hold on to is that transference and counter-transference are dangerous obstructions to treatment. Many times I kind of do come across people who say, well, that particular patient has started, falling in love with me, and I think, that this is transference and treatment must be stopped at this moment. This is again a very, big misconception, and people generally do stop treatment, or they would, rebuke the patient, that you ought not be doing like, you ought not be having those feelings over here or something like that. However, the reality is that transference and counter-transference are the most powerful data, clinician can have, and if you understand them well and if you know how to deal with them, they can become effective tools in the treatment. Because we normally in psychology we talk a lot about the person's past, but we don't really know, and we can never really know what happened in the past. But transference and counter-transference are two things where the past becomes alive in here and now and in the present. So that way it's a very effective and a very rich data. The third myth is that people often say that transference and counter-transference are not applicable to Indian context. They often say that these are, very Western things, and people in India would have, very different things. The fact is that transference and counter-transference are somewhere a very universal phenomena. However, based on the culture, the way they are expressed and the themes that the transference and counter-transference can change, but they are very much universal. And the last is that many people would say that, that transference and counter-transference are a child of Freud, and Freud is long been dead and, has been disapproved as wrong, which is very true. Freud has long been dead, and many of his theories and concepts have been very rightly disapproved, and they deserve to be disapproved, yeah? But at the same time, the field of psychoanalysis has evolved a lot in the last 50 years. And there have been many recent developments and interesting understandings about these two very enigmatic concepts. And now I would hand on to Dr. Roland.